Well, what about the draft, Dad? And this was the big thing on, I guess it was
No.
Monday or Tuesday was the draft.
Okay. Now everybody knows, and listen to this here, that if to make the Stanley Cup Finals, you have to be tough. I mean, I don't care, Dallas, and every time Tampa picked up the puck, their defenseman picked up the puck, if they were 6 feet, bang. And you're going to say, why would they hit a guy after he passes the puck? Because the next time he gets the puck, he'd get whacked. So anyhow, T.O., they said for 2 days I read, they're going to be tougher. They're going to get tougher. Harder to play against. That was it. And hard to play against. Hard to play against. That's all I heard was hard to play against. So who did they, and they picked up Simmons, 1.5. We must talk about him. And they picked up Brody.
And Bogosian.
And they signed Spezza.
Yep.
The fighter on the club, Spezza.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. And
But
anyhow, you have to be tough. You have to be tough. Everybody knows that Tampa picked up. They picked up They picked up Coleman, who I think he led the league in hits. Maroon, Bosigan, Toronto picked him up.
Yeah, Bogosian.
Oh, something like that. And Goodrow, who led the league, was up there and hitting too. So anyhow, everybody knows you have to be tough. And to make the regular season, I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything. So let's just see who they drafted to be tougher, okay? Now, you have to figure that Dubas is from Ontario, or he's with the Sioux, and he's with the Ontario Hockey League, right?
Right.
So, oh boy.
He grew up in the Ontario Hockey League.
He grew up and he learned everything. And as we know, the best hockey players in the world, the draft. How about the draft this year? What was it? 19 out of
19 first rounders were Canadian.
19 first rounders, and not a word said on television. Well, it's about the
comment was it was a rebound year.
A rebound, and we had 19 first rounders. Now, rest assured, if it had been 19 Americans or 19 Germans, remember what was this? The Germans that were picked. Germans are coming. The Germans are coming. There's three. They got twice. Anyhow, see in Canada or on television, you can't pump Canada too much because somehow or other, if you pump Canada too much, it means that you're putting down the other country, and you can't put down the other country. You can't say buy a poppy because it's sort of people that don't buy a poppy. Anyhow, the Dubas is from the OHL. He got a start in the Sioux, and let's just go over who he drafted, okay? Now, remember what I said, that you have to be big and tough. Boston the year before, am I right?
Boston, St. Louis the year before.
Yes, Boston had the most fights. Oh, my goodness, don't much about fighting. And and Washington had Tom Wilson running around, straightening everybody out. That was 2 years ago. You have to be tough to be in the finals. Everybody knows that. So let's just say, and the Leafs said, we got to get harder to play against. We got to get harder to play against. So they take a Russian, 5'11", about 160 pounds. Then the second, they take a 5'9" guy from Finland. He's tougher. Then they take another guy from Finland. I don't know, he's about 160 pounds. Then they take a Russian about 150 pounds. One guy, believe it or not, one guy weighs 140 pounds. Then they take another Russian. Then they take another guy from Finland. Then they take a guy from Finland. And they take a Canadian, 233rd. He's, just a flyer. I'm not going to name the guys because they're hard to name. But imagine that. First, what is it?
19 out of in the first round, 19 Canadians.
Are Canadians. Somebody who knows what's going on. And here's a team that says it's got to be tougher to play against. And they take little Europeans.
You brought up the good point. Like, what does their Canadian and American scouts think that Like, do they have any guys that scout in the U.S. and Canada?
Well, you're out in the rinks all the time. Do you see any Toronto Maple Leaf?
Never see
scouts?
anybody.
Well, we're minor midgets.
Minor
really.
midgets, so it doesn't make any difference. But like, how do the Canadian scouts feel? I mean, how do the Canadian scouts feel around here? How do the Canadian
Well, you know,
and the
the
American scout? I mean, they don't draft any American. Well, they draft Americans. They won that kid. He played in the OHL. Robinson, I think his name is.
Right, he played in the thing. But the funny thing was, Cindy, I was watching the draft, and the Sportsnet did a good job where they kind of knew the guys who were going in the first round. So they went to their moms and said, "Can you send us some pictures of the kids growing up?" And how many of the kids had like Travers, like, you know, Toronto Maple Leaf pajamas or Toronto Maple Leaf sweaters?
Everybody.
And, you know, you look and you go, they're the Leafs, like picking some guy that, you know.
Yeah,
From Finland.
I watched a little bit. I liked when they had the camera with at the homes of
Yeah.
the people.
Yeah, that
were
was
gonna-
good.
And all.
But yeah, you're right. You know, it just makes you wonder. You know, we're talking about Toronto right now, and Canada's team, as they say, and they draft all European. But here's the funny thing, is that Brian Burke. And I keep bringing in Brian Burke. That when he was the general manager of Toronto, when Stahl would come in, one of the Stahls would always get the overtime goal, and they'd always play good. And he said, and he's an American, he said, the kids from Ontario always play better. And the same thing is like from Vancouver. If you get a kid from BC, he's going to play better because his family's there. If you get a kid from Alberta, he's going to play better because his family is there. And I don't know.
He grows up there and stuff like that. Like, I know people are going to say, well, they got Wayne Simmons and they got Bogosian and they got those guys, but
Brody.
My thing is, you know, are they going to play Wayne Simmons? Because they didn't play Clifford and they didn't play Clarkson. So
Clarkson, there's a guy that could have been great. When he came here, he got a lot of money. There's no doubt about it. But he got off on the wrong foot. He didn't put him on the power play. And we're getting off on a tangent here. But you're right. They have to play this guy. Like Clifford last year. Clifford, when he was remember, he was my favorite player. Never played. If you don't play these guys over 10 minutes and that are tough, there's no sense in even having them, because you can't have a guy sit on the bench. They don't anymore. Go out there like a mad dog, and he knows he has to fight. He has pressure on him. The guy has got to play. And yeah, they've got these guys. We've got guys like Simmons and that now. And I hope that he plays like he did a couple of years ago when he first come up, because if they've got a dandy in him.